how can I honor what I'm letting go of with gratitude and not guilt? So, yeah, for me, it's pieces of my old self. I don't know if I'm necessarily guilty about it, but like sometimes I like mourn pieces of me that I had before. I might miss them a bit. So I guess honoring letting go of some superficial material things and not feeling guilty about it, but meeting it with gratitude. What will I make space for when I surrender? Because we spend so much energy and time resisting, wanting to control. What do you actually make space for when you lean into the piece that you aren't able to control it? The illusion that we're not able to control it. And what would it feel like to move forward from a place of flow and not force? Surrender isn't about letting life happen to you. It's about letting life happen through you. Welcome back to another episode. I'm Monica Verga Alborno, and this is the Wand Her Wild podcast, a space for modern mothers reclaiming their wild, living with intention, and redefining what it means to feel fulfilled while raising a family. Here we explore mindful motherhood, conscious parenting, feminine rhythms, and the power of self-discovery. Guided by curiosity, we share honest stories, soulful conversations, and actionable steps you can weave into your full, everyday lives. Hi, I am excited to be here today, but also this topic is something I am walking through right now. So I'm not on the other side of it. It is very front and center in daily life right now, and that is surrendering and how to actually do that in practice. I know we've all probably heard the word surrender, and these lovely life coaches and gurus out there who just seem to have all the right words, all the right times, like to use surrender. But I have surrendered in several different periods of my life, and right now is one of them. And I think it might also be on a lot of your hearts because I tend to have a lot of communication with our community, and I hear different things happening in your lives at home that were unplanned, unforeseen, and are uncomfortable right now and are causing your ordinary life to feel very overwhelming. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about surrender, the concept of surrender, and also some practical things to support you walking through surrender that I am doing myself right now. And so I want to kind of start. I'm going to use my notebook and some resources because I am working through this in real time. And so I want to start with just reading the definition of what surrender means. And at its essence, it means that you are releasing the illusion of control, not in a passive or defeated way. And I think this is really important. Surrendering does not mean that you're giving up. It means that you are conscious. It's the moment that you stop fighting against what is and start flowing with what wants to be. So anyone out there that is a control freak, that feels like they do all the things right and they're questioning why something's turning out a certain way, surrender is something that you may need to take a closer look at, right? How you can, this is what I'm realizing right now. I can do specific things in my life. I can make changes. I think most of you are aware, I will share what I'm talking about, right? I think most of you are aware that a year ago, I left my corporate job in an effort replace my corporate income with being an entrepreneur full time. It's been a year later. It's been a little over a year now, 13 months. And have been building this business for 5 years, right? While I was birthing babies and in the corporate world. And there has been so much uncertainty with, am I making the right decisions for my family, for me, in my business, my relationships in my business, and feeling through what wants to be, because I can do all the things that I think are right for everyone. And then I just have to let it be. And it's going to fall where the universe wants it to fall. That is surrender. That is surrender, right? And so I want to talk a little bit more about some different layers of surrender from a spiritual sense. It's the act of, and I'm reading some definitions here. So the spiritual definition of surrender, it's an act of trusting something larger than yourself. Life, God, the universe, your intuition to guide the unfolding. It's saying, I don't have to force this, I can allow it. Emotionally, it's the release of resistance. Instead of gripping tightly to outcomes, we soften into acceptance of our feelings, our circumstances, or even our own humanness. This softening often brings peace where control brought tension. And then practically, which is what we're really focusing on today, surrender can look like taking aligned action and then stepping back to let things breathe. That's where I'm at right now. I'm taking my aligned action. I am not giving up in any way, but I'm stepping back, allowing things to breathe and allowing the magic, the mystery. I think really mystery is probably the better word here to work itself out. It's not giving up, it's giving over. My daughter's birthday is tomorrow. She's going to be 5 years old. And in motherhood, surrender often means letting go of the ideal plan, the perfection, and being fully present with what's real. It's choosing presence over being a perfectionist and connection over control. So I've been kind of journaling a bit more on what does surrender mean in practice to me? What does surrendering mean? And there's 4 things. The first big one for me is that surrendering does not mean giving up. Surrendering does not mean giving up. Number 2, surrendering does not mean that you've done anything wrong. When life is overwhelming, when things feel like they're moving in a way that you don't fully understand, you haven't done anything wrong. And that's been a grace period as well for myself. Specifically, I'm talking, but it could be a grace period for you as well, because you may have to face a situation that you can't change or solve, and you may be putting all of your will, your strength, your logic into it, and it doesn't seem to help. You can't detach from it or pretend it doesn't matter. And you can't seem to ignore it or control the overwhelming circumstances. And instead of really feeling like you've done something wrong and that you've been taken out of your depths, um, it's been helpful for me to also understand that this isn't personal. You haven't done anything wrong. Again, this is something that is a set of instructions. And that's actually point number 3 that I have, is that there's a set of instructions in here riding this roller coaster. That's point number 4, that you just have to make aligned actions and ride the roller coaster, not fully knowing where it's going to take you. And that's the idea of surrender, right? Is that we do not have control. We do not have control. And along this roller coaster ride, there is a set of instructions that may be taking us to a certain destination we don't quite understand yet. And so I hope that this is helpful to you. I hope that you feel like you're not alone. I'm not giving up on my entrepreneurial journey. I'm rerouting my entrepreneurial journey, and I'm deepening certain parts of it and adding certain things and letting go of certain things. And I'm sharing this because it's real, it's real. And for those of you out there that think I have it all together, like, I'm figuring it out. We all are, right? We're all figuring it out. Um, and that surrendering piece is going to come up in all of our lives, I would think, right? We're all here to learn something. And that's been really important for me right now in this season, that I'm in. So I wanted to share some questions for you to ask yourself. So notice, first of all, okay, let's just have an awareness if we are surrendering or not. Like, notice what you're holding on to that you're putting control, resistance, or attachment to. And ask yourself, where in your life are you trying to force something to happen? What feels heavy or tight in your body when you think about letting go? Letting go. Change and letting go can be a really tough one. Think about that. What am I afraid will happen if I stop controlling this situation? So that's bringing an awareness to what you are trying to control or have resistance towards, like what you need to surrender towards, right? And moving now into acceptance, some questions I've been asking myself. What would it look like to accept the season exactly as it is? In what ways is life already supporting me, even when I can't see the whole plan? So these questions are for acceptance, and that piece has really been helpful on my own personal journey, where most of you who've been around for a while know that the extreme grief that I experienced in early 2024, the uncertainty that came with that, the personal growth and the healing, and the decision to leave corporate behind, and then a full, fruitful, beautiful year of relationship building and community building and expanding everything that Wander Wild is, and really also having time to root into home life a lot more, like being more present in my home, having more time for stillness and breathing, and feeling like everything is moving towards alignment, feeling really good and excited about every day. And when I look back at like a year ago, so if you can also look back at a year ago where you were and where you are now, it's pretty incredible when you think about a year has passed and everything that's changed and moved. And you've moved through it, through the pain, through the uncomfortable parts, through the laughter, through all of it. And it's brought you to somewhere new. Some more questions. And this actually goes, and what I was kind of just getting at is trusting. Trusting. Where have I seen evidence that life unfolds in perfect timing? And I have a lot of evidence in that I've just had to trust in the timing unfolding in the way that it's meant to. That even happened when I was becoming a mother, that I had a miscarriage. And then it took me 2 years to become a mother, but it all made sense the way that it played out and the way that the timing that I was meant to become a mother. And that's one thing that always sticks in my head, because I was on a monthly basis looking at the pregnancy test, wondering, when is this going to happen for me? And asking, did I do something wrong? And at that time I had no even like understanding of what is surrender. I was just like, what is going on? But yeah, if I had understood at that time, I don't know what I would have done, but that surrender period could have been less resistant, and I could have just been moving through it, understanding that it was going to happen at the right time. Another question about trust. What does my intuition want me to know about this situation? What does my intuition want me to know about this situation? I think there's this huge fire in me personally that knows that I'm on the right path. I have been making the right decisions. I have been believing in myself that I can do anything that I want, that people that I come across, you listening to this, you're also capable of doing anything that you want in the world. We just need to trust and believe in ourselves and understand that there is a piece of surrender in it, that it doesn't always look exactly how we think it will in our minds. Okay. And here's some last questions for you to think on. By the way, this is a really great episode to sit and like write in your journal on. I did quite a lot of journaling recently on this. And yeah, it's a nice one to jot these down and go back to them later. Or also, I love a good thought prompt if you're just listening to this on the go and you want to record a voice note to yourself, if you're just like just voice note audio the question that I'm sharing, and then share to yourself in a private voice note, like, where you're at with some of these questions. Um, Voice notes are awesome, and also thought prompts, just thinking about it, just thinking about this in your mind. But I do recommend writing it or doing an audio note just because you're releasing that energy too that you're holding on to related to these questions, and I've found that really helpful to just put that energy, express that energy somewhere, even if it's just for your eyes, right, and yourself. And then I want to share some final prompts for releasing this piece of surrendering and moving through the flow, like just getting on the roller coaster and moving through it. Releasing this piece of surrendering and moving through the flow, like just getting on the roller coaster and moving through it. How can I honor what I'm letting go of with gratitude and not guilt? So, yeah. For me, it's pieces of my old self. I don't know if I'm necessarily guilty about it, but like sometimes I like mourn pieces of me that I had before. I might miss them a bit because I miss like going into the corporate office sometimes and like having that um status, the status, that comes with it. Kind of like superficial things, I guess. But yeah. So I guess honoring letting go of some superficial material things and not feeling guilty about it, but meeting it with gratitude. What will I make space for when I surrender? Yeah, because we spend so much energy and time resisting, wanting to control. What do you actually make space for when you lean into the piece that you aren't able to control it? The illusion that we're not able to control it, as I said in the beginning with the definition of surrender. And what would it feel like to move forward from a place of flow and not force? What would it feel like to move forward from a place of flow and not force? And I want to find this quote that I saw recently that was really nice. Okay, here it is. Surrender isn't about letting life happen to you. It's about letting life happen through you. Surrender isn't about letting life happen to you. It's about letting life happen through you. Yeah, I really love that. Um, the last thing I want to share is actually one of my friends, one of the speakers. Some of I should say friend, but she is one of the speakers that I now call a friend that was in our audio event recently. She shared this really beautiful email. Um, she was just on a retreat in Sedona with a group, and I messaged her back and was like, I really need to hear this today. Thank you. And I want to read it for you as well. She said, that dizzying mix of exhaustion, expansion, and reorientation you may be feeling right now, or you may have been feeling lately. If it's you, know this, that you're not off track, you're upgrading. Your system is learning to hold more light, more joy, more truth. And the more you trust the process, or as we've been talking about, surrender, the more you say yes to what's calling you, the more the universe rearranges itself in your favor. And that's what's possible for all of us when we follow the nudge. That's how she ended her email. And I really loved that. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have for today. I hope that this gave you something. And if you're also going through a season of surrendering, know that you're not alone. And if you want to send me a message, I'm excited to connect with you. Um, yeah, it's just nice to know that there's others of us out there who are experiencing this and moving through it. So, all right, until next time.